to see and foresee how this really pans out. But let's now start with the discussion and introduce our guests first and foremost, because it makes for a compelling discussion. So we have Mr. Guruva Reddy, who always joins us in the Hyderabad studios. Thank you for your time, sir, as ever. We also have Nagendra Ashwath, who joins us as well in the Hyderabad studios, as well as Bishan Jaswant, who joins us from Bangalore. He, of course, is a sports writer and has a thing or two to say about this particular development which has come. And our correspondent of India, head Harshit Tahuja, also awaits us in the national capital. We thank you, gentlemen. We'll start with Mr. Reddy. What do you have to say? Because is pink the new red as such?
That's trying to expose it to like one.
Yeah.
Basically, I would like to reiterate that technically, Test cricket is the original format of cricket.
Absolutely.
And we need to protect that. Of course, I agree with Saurav Ganguly that T20 is challenging the status of Test cricket, and the crowd is not being attracted.
Yeah.
But there are other means and there are ways where we can actually develop cricket. So where last time when we had heard Ganguly after the first press conference that he is going to take the cricket equal to all, and to protect the players' interests, and also there have been some steps taken forward. What I would like to, on my personal opinion, and also in the interest of cricket, there has to be two divisions of cricket. One is the short format and the longer format. The longer format should be technically original as it is. I should not be tampering around with, and I'm sure somebody who is pursuing technical cricket and somebody who is passionate about watching cricket. Maybe there are live telecasts around, and there are B towns around India. There are about 300 B towns around India where cricket needs to be developed, and there are crowd audience where if there is a special festival of 5 or 6 days in the B town, and I'm sure you give a venue where there is 10,000 or 15,000 crowd is the capacity stadium there. It will be fully packed, and it will be, the crowd would go more berserk and more crazier than any regular T20 match in a bigger center. There are mains and several methods. Also, there are complaints about the pink balls attire, and how does it affect the batsman's vision. And 20 over, the ball getting softer after 20 overs doesn't help the fast bowlers, neither it helps the spinners. And then you need to have to give life to the ball, you need to have certain grass on the surface, and where if it's winter time, and it's all about, you need to really be careful about those 8 to 10 hours during the evening hours when the original sunshine goes darker, and then you have these floodlights coming in, and it's that jinx of the time where the batsman need to be a bit careful about. But otherwise, there's not much of life left. We have seen the average number of wickets fallen per day on a day-night test is 3. That is actually boring. If you really don't give life to the pitch there out, I'm sure it's going to be boring cricket. But all said and done, Saurav Ganguly is batting for it. I'm sure there's a larger scale of interest where to attract more crowds to the stadium. But when a test match is played between two nations, and it is telecasted in something like broadcasted like a Star or somebody of that stature, it is actually originally broadcasted worldwide. And the number of people who watch live at the ground or the stadium is not even 2 or 3%. When you compare it to the actual crowd which is watching, because the various daytime and night times, timing across the world. So you need to consider that you need to protect the originality of the Test cricket. You need to protect the the standard and quality of the Test cricket. That's what I see. Let us see where it goes.
All right, some pertinent points there, food for thought nonetheless, because it goes to show that in many ways the BCCI have been reluctant to, of course, accepting this move. It's taken some time for them, 4 years to be precise, to get on board. Why do you think that's happened? And I'll come to Mr. Nagendra right now for his opinion. Why do you think that reluctance was there from the BCCI? And now with Ganguly coming in, it seems to be a green signal given, right?
It's not been the first time that BCCI have been reluctant to a change. I mean, this happened with the T20 cricket as well, and then we went on to become the pioneers of marketing the cricket in the T20 format. So it has always been our sometimes the players' take is always there. We are not as bold as the Australian cricket cricket board, where they say that's okay, let's go and see something which happens and then try to work it out from there. That is where it all started. I mean, I agree with all the points that Ganguly had to say, all the points that Mr. Reddy has to say, but end of the day, the discussion did not start with the pink ball. The discussion started, how do we market, how do we get more viewers to watch cricket on TV? I mean, stadiums is a rope for another discussion, but how do we have them look at it? I mean, I go to office 9 to 6.
Yeah.
I come home and I don't even have time to look at the highlights of the match that happened today. You rather cannot make it interesting for me by shifting the session to the night. But bottom line is that they wanted to try this out, and you can see, I mean, they are not playing 4 or 5 test matches at a row. I mean, I think in the last 3 years we played around 12 test matches. I mean, Australia and South Africa have made it a tradition as such that they get the Adelaide test and one more test in the South African season. And Dubai has always been that kind of a experimental kind of a cricket board venue. And these things have been happening. So that is when the pink ball evolved. They tried different balls. They tried orange ball. They saw how it worked. And now people say that now the Duke's pink ball doesn't deteriorate its color till the 60th or 70th over. But the actual challenge is not the ball. I mean, the players get used to it. I mean, it's not like.
So what is the real challenge then?
Color, not the color, but it's about the weight and seam, swing, and the sustainability of the ball quality.
So do you think we have those balls which can, of course, allow India to play in their own
unfortunately, a very short time decision, I think. I mean, you should have given it a couple of more months. I mean, even Anil Kumble was telling last week that it's not about the it was not only about the 5 test venues. It was about the season in which we play. Chennai during the Pongal season, we used to play a test match. Mumbai during the Vinayak Chavati, we used to play a test match. These are things which we need to think a little more according to the locales.
I'm glad you brought that up, because of course it begs the question, because Saurav Ganguly did mention this, the fact that he hopes to make it an annual affair in Kolkata, considering Eden Gardens is an iconic venue. So what better place to start off the day and night test cricket in the city of joy. Let me bring in Arvind Suchindran, who I forgot to introduce, by the way. Apologies there, Arvind. I hope all is well with you. What's your thought about day and night tests, in particular this pink ball presence?
I think India had to embrace pink ball test at one point or the other. And we have to look at this from the perspective of Saurav Ganguly. He has just come in as BCCI president, and there are a lot of expectations from him. But he has a very little short duration of time to actually do something. And given his 9-month stint as BCCI president, he just wants to do something that will make him that will make people remember him as the guy who brought in real change. And that apart, Eden being the home ground of West Bengal, and that's where Saurav Ganguly comes from, that is the other aspect that Saurav Ganguly looked at. He could have as well made Indore the venue of the first test between India and Bangladesh as the pink ball day-night test venue, but he chose to give that right to Eden Gardens, his home ground. And given its proximity to Bangladesh, you can expect a lot of crowd as well. So there is also an emotional angle attached to it. These are the main reasons why he went ahead with the move, but there are concerns about the ball. He has ordered, I think, 72 SG balls, and they'll be out for delivery next week, sometime in the middle of next week. But from the players who have actually played with the SG ball, they've all said that they've all given mixed reactions to it. And they say that the spinners go out of the equation and the ball sometimes turns orange.
I mean, I did read some of those. I did read some of those statements. Sorry to cut you off there, Arvind, because what you're mentioning is, of course, from the bowler's perspective, like you said, mixed bag of reactions. You have a Mohammad Shami who did use it, I think, a couple of years ago in a local game in Kolkata, and he was absolutely unplayable. But then you have Kuldeep Yadav, who said the extra lacquer, which is on the ball, the pink surface, I think it's just more abrasive. It of course, becomes very hard to spin and grip the ball. Let me now bring Bishan into this context, in this discussion in many ways. Bishan, are you a happy man with this decision being now overturned with regards to India playing their first ever day and night test? How do you look at it? Happy, I presume?
Extremely thrilled with the BCCI decision to play a pink ball day and night test at Eden Gardens in the upcoming test series against Bangladesh. People these days just no longer have the time to watch a test match from morning to evening, especially on a weekday working day. they need to have the opportunity